With the trending of Crimson Desert is actually coming on the line right now, and a lot of well, some leagues of early reviews are actually coming out, and I want to actually specify something. Its engine, well, not Pearl Abyss engine, which is called Black Space, but I want to actually make fun of another engine called Unreal Engine 5. If you guys know, I'm pretty sure you guys know what Unreal Engine 5 supposed to actually stands for at this point. To be honest, I think the worst thing about gaming community nowadays, even though despite it actually has its own uniqueness and conveniences towards developers, but I just can't help but noticing that Unreal Engine 5 is still one of the few worst engine of all time. I'm just saying this because there's not a lot of people actually utilizing very well of UE5. And I think we all know if you guys play some of the recent games from especially from the UE5 games, we all can agree that UE5 has been very terrible optimization. They have so bad optimization that I just can't help but really just have a moment to moment with you all. Just say that in unison that UE5 is still shit. Now, are all UE5 games are shit? Hell to the nah. Let me rewind back of the pasta making real quick. But in the early stages of the era renaissance of UE5, there are games that are actually making it with UE5 that is actually pretty good. I don't want to say wouldn't wait because sometimes that game also have a problem with the optimization, but the game does get better. But I want to clarify this one game, which is I would say a very underrated multiplayer game, and it is also most critical favorite multiplayer game, The Finals. The Finals is a game that I've been following for a very long time, and is made in UE5 and it just works. It just bloody works. But I just don't see that same optimization, same uniqueness of like the being able to use the engine for like the other games. The finals has huge amount of destruction. Very much. Like better than Battlefield 6, without a doubt. But like the thing is that like I just don't see like UE5 being able to actually even compete some of the newer gen games. So like every time I heard like newer gen, and it's made UE5, I always think like we are going back to caveman mode, and it's not newer gen because most of the UE5 games has been so murky looking. Every UE5 have something in common is that everything that dev have made it sometimes looks very murky. The sharpening doesn't look very good. Sometimes when you move around, even though the motion blur is off, it's still there. It's annoying as hell. The FPS will drop down to negative 50, like how you actually reach to the peak, but it's not peak, but like you have to fall down from the Mount Everest because it's just that bad. But regardless, I think but there are developers I would also respect. There are like other than the finals and also Wooden Wave. Like look at Lies of P. Lies of P is another game that's made by Unreal Engine 5, but somehow actually was able to actually uphold by itself. Kazan, a game that is surprisingly made by Unreal Engine, but really actually took its own style differently and works the game very well. There's a lot of uses in this game in this engine that goes very well. There is uses, but you just can't help it that to feel a bit skeptical for the upcoming The Witcher 4 game. That game is also another game I just feel a bit skeptical. Sure, they did say all about like they're going to have RTX stuff, but do people even care about fidelity graphics at this point? Like I'm already tired. Oh, I also forgot. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. That game was also made in Unreal Engine, and I do hear like optimization also very bad. But my point is that every game that is made in Unreal Engine 5, and most of the complaints are actually coming from one thing: optimization. That game has every game just lacks an optimization in UE5. And it's really funny to me seeing that Pearl Abyss was able to make an engine by themselves because when they try UE5 to make Crimson Desert, they say they really just don't want that. It doesn't have the same capability. So there is I don't know if this is true or not. For the last 7 years of Pearl Abyss, they have an engine called Black Space, which is the same engine they use for Crimson Desert, has been non-stopping using the engine to actually lead to its fullest potential when it comes to performance. There is they have been optimized so well, and I just can't help it. Just look at this game. How the hell did this game actually was able to really make it actually available in MacBook? Yes, Crimson Desert is going to be launching in MacBook. The fact it's going to play on MacBook is actually insane. I don't need to go into like the console stuff. I like there is actually like Digital Foundry deep dive into PS5 stuff of Crimson Desert. You can check it out the video. I'll put a link in the description. But I would say that one of the few impressive thing about Pearl Abyss that I really do respect about is that their engine Blackspace is actually so optimized. They actually allow 1060 to be in the category of like the minimum requirement of the game. How the hell will you? None. There's no other fucking developers will even think that far about like the generation of GPU. But I'm glad they did. It's really good. And then like compared to other developers who really just notoriously just deep dive themselves into UE5 has been non-stop of like forgetting about optimization. And don't even get me started with RE Engine whenever they make our open world game, not the specifically single player game. They just can't make it right for optimization and forgot all of the older gen of the GP who holds the older gen GPU. It's funny to me because like especially with the like with the situation of the, like building a PC right now, which is kind of really hard to do. I just feel like developers should actually take notes from Pearl Abyss to make the game as optimized as possible. I think that should be the key. That's the main key for the whole entire product. Like I gotta play the game at the very least if you want to actually make me pay for it. It should run well, you know? And yeah, UE5 has its own merit. I can't deny that. There is a lot of games that actually does go well with UE5. But again, there's a lot more games that doesn't work very well. It's not baked. It's just not even processed very well. You got the cake, but like what kind of cake is it? It's a non-cake. It's a cake that doesn't even have any flavor, and you can't even eat the cake because it's actually rock hard. That's it. But regardless, um, I really do think like developers should actually more focus on the optimization in the future because that should be the main thing, really. Like I don't care about new gen, like newer gen, higher graphic fidelity. It's not something that I want to actually prioritize, but maybe you guys have different opinion about that. Sure, people like love pretty graphics, looking little details of the graphics. Buddy, we already went over this with Elden Ring that fidelity of the graphics is not the main course of the game. You're playing a game because you want to actually have fun of the game. If the game was able to make you immerse itself, that means that like sometimes graphic fidelity doesn't need to actually be applied because we already have our direction to be actually playing a role here. Look at Elden Ring. Of course, I will put aside Elden Ring. Look at Dark Souls. Okay, maybe I'll put aside Dark Souls. Hey, look at Rockstar. Okay, maybe that's a bad comparison because their graphics are really good too. But sometimes when you look at the nook crannies of the game, sometimes it's not really that actually really high detailed. That game is still optimized for a lot of PC as well. Red Dead Redemption 2 still surprised me with the fact that I actually can run it on 1660, which is surprising for me. Um, but other than that, you get my point. You get my point. Like, what do you guys think about UE5? Do you think like people should really try to focus more on optimization instead of like just keep on using UE5 when like UE5 just you can't deny the fact that it has its own problem with like with the developers. Everyone just keep jumping in on for the new gen, but like it just doesn't work. Especially with the Witcher 4 in the talking, they're going to make it Unreal Engine. I'm still a bit skeptical. But regardless, I want to hear you guys' opinion about it. I want to actually hear you guys. If you want to comment about it, just comment under the video. That would be very very lovely. I want to talk to you guys about it. But yeah, hope you have a lovely day or have a lovely night. Peace out, y'all.